$500,000 fine after crane collapse. The morning sun rose over Fresno, California, casting long shadows across the bustling construction site. Rick, a seasoned crane operator with 20 years of experience, squinted into the light as he adjusted his hardit and began his routine checks. The giant crane towered above him, creaking slightly under the stress of its latest lift. Something felt off. Rick paused, frowning. The metal joints seemed strained, groaning louder than usual. But deadlines pressed tight, and foreman Dan wasn't having delays. "Rick, let's get moving," he shouted from the ground. Ignoring his instincts, Rick climbed into the operator's seat, gripping the controls firmly. The first few lifts went smoothly, easing his tension. But as he maneuvered a massive load overhead, an unsettling crack echoed through the air. Rick's heart skipped. Below, workers looked upward anxiously. Then another crack, louder, sharper. Bolts snapped like rifle shots, and the crane began to sway dangerously. "Clear the area," Rick shouted desperately into the radio. Workers scattered, panic gripping the site. Rick's hands shook as he tried stabilizing the load, but the crane was beyond control. With a deafening screech, the structure began collapsing. Steel beams twisted and broke, falling in terrifying slow motion. Rick leaped clear just seconds before tons of metal crashed violently to the ground, creating a dust cloud that enveloped everything. Silence fell, thick and suffocating, before screams and shouts pierced the air. Miraculously, Rick emerged unscathed, but shaken to his core. Javier, however, was hit by falling debris and critically injured. Paramedics rushed him away, sirens echoing grimly into the distance. OSHA inspectors soon descended upon the wreckage, uncovering severe negligence. Essential maintenance had been skipped repeatedly to cut costs and meet deadlines. Months later, the company faced a massive $500,000 fine. Rick, though physically unharmed, was haunted by guilt, hidden danger at midnight. Trapped in a chemical plant, the clock struck midnight at a chemical manufacturing plant in Houston, Texas. Anthony, a diligent maintenance worker, wiped sweat from his forehead, despite the cool night air. He was tasked with a routine check of the storage tanks, a simple job he had performed countless times. Tonight felt different, though. The plant was eerily quiet, shadows cast by towering machinery playing tricks on his eyes. Anthony approached the storage tank room, pausing as he heard a faint hissing sound. His heartbeat quickened. Gas leaks were rare but deadly. Cautiously, Anthony stepped closer, flashlight illuminating rust-streaked metal pipes. The hiss intensified suddenly, followed by a choking, acrid smell. Panic surged through him. Ammonia gas leak. Anthony lunged toward the emergency shutoff valve, heart pounding as he fumbled with the rusty lead. The valve refused to budge. He pulled harder, desperation fueling his strength, but nothing. His vision blurred, lungs burning from the toxic fumes seeping around him. Anthony staggered backward, gasping for air as his knees hit the concrete. Just then, alarms blared, red lights flashing urgently. Through tears and coughing fits, Anthony saw co-workers rushing toward him, equipped with respirators and emergency gear. One teammate grabbed him, pulling him toward fresh air, while others managed to shut off the valve. Anthony was hospitalized briefly, but survived. Investigations later revealed corroded equipment and neglected inspections as the cause. The plant faced harsh penalties and implemented rigorous safety procedures, reminders of the dire consequences when oversight becomes habit. Anthony returned to work eventually, grateful but forever vigilant. He knew firsthand the thin line separating routine work from deadly disaster. Nightmare in the warehouse. The overloaded forklift late-night shifts were never easy, but tonight felt particularly brutal for Samantha, a forklift operator at a sprawling warehouse in Detroit, Michigan. The dim lighting created pools of shadow around towering shelves, and fatigue blurred her focus. Samantha, a single mother working back-to-back shifts, fought exhaustion. Her supervisor had pushed for productivity, so she loaded pallets heavier than usual onto her forklift. Co-workers eyed her nervously. "You're sure about that load?" Mike asked, concern evident in his voice. She waved him off, confident in her experience, but fatigue clouded her judgment. As she maneuvered down a narrow aisle, the overloaded forklift wobbled alarmingly. Samantha froze, panic gripping her as she felt the lift begin tipping. In slow motion, she saw pallets sliding dangerously. "Watch out!" someone shouted, snapping her out of paralysis. Samantha leaped clear, just as the forklift crashed into shelving, causing a domino effect of collapsing boxers and crates. The warehouse filled with the sound of splintering wood and smashing goods. Samantha escaped injury, but the warehouse sustained massive damage. Operations halted for weeks. OSHA subsequent inspection pinpointed inadequate forklift training and ignored load limits. The warehouse was fined heavily, forced to overhaul its training programs. For Samantha, the near miss was life-altering. She became an advocate for strict safety adherence, reminding coworkers daily that rushing and fatigue were a dangerous combination. The accident left a lasting impression, a stark reminder that cutting corners could cost far more than money. It could cost lives.